to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
I've got some great news for Football Nation Radio listeners. Our supportive partner, Northern Motor Group, is offering $250 off any in-stock vehicle this end of financial year. That's if you take delivery before the 30th of June. With 8 big car brands, MG, Nissan, Kia, Isuzu Ute, Jeep, Ram, Samsung, Peugeot and Pacific Caravans, it's literally a one-stop shop for all your driving needs. Plus, with over 150 quality pre-owned vehicles, Northern Motor Group really does have your next vehicle purchase ready and waiting. Don't wait. Visit www.northernmotorgroup.com.au today. They're in Grimshaw Street, Boroondara, and tell them George sent you. LMCT 6595.
She lays it off Teresa Polias. It's an absolute peach. Ayres driving. What a hit from Melina Ayres. Wow. And Sam Kerr has a hat-trick.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Radio Dub here at FNR. I am Pokuah Frimpong as always, and I was going to say lucky enough to be joined by, but I feel like that's just a bit too much praise to give to you. Joined by Oscar Rutherford, Mr. Worldwide. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
International Man of Mystery.
For sure. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. It was a good weekend of NPL women's football, and we're getting close to the Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
And we've got a good guest on today.
It's just everything's lined up perfectly, hasn't it?
It feels like we're on the yellow brick road. It feels nice, man. You know what I mean? Do you not feel that vibe sometimes?
Who are you out of the Wizard of Oz cast members? Which character?
None of them, because they're all incredibly dumb, and that movie terrifies me. So
it terrifies you?
Yeah.
Can I ask why it terrifies you?
The Witch was a bit dramatic for me as a child.
Okay.
And I tried to watch it at 9 o'clock at night, and I was 8. So, you know.
So it's like a bit of childhood trauma.
Yeah, but I do think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm good.
There was something weird about just seeing the legs sticking out of the Wicked Witch.
It's something weird that it feels like, you know, they were just selling drugs. It was a dream.
Wow.
I feel like that's what that movie was.
Okay, wow, you've
That's what the movie felt like it was selling, but it's okay.
taken the Wizard of Oz in a different direction, but that's okay.
I don't think our guests would agree with my take.
No.
It was a pretty poor take, I'm going to be honest with you. But
We're off to a flying start.
We are off to a great start here at Radio Dub. We are lucky enough to be joined by Boroondara Eagles star forward and also assist machine,
Yeah.
Becky Lim. Becky, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited that you're on the show because we're trying to get you on the show for a little while. We felt that maybe you didn't like us, but now that you're here now, I feel like you do like us. So I'm feeling really positive about it.
Although I might just leave after the hot take about the Wizard of Oz. I'm not gonna lie, that is controversial.
No, fair. It's just the movie's great, but it's just a bit, you know.
It's a great movie.
I feels like
It's so iconic.
It is, but aren't they selling just a drug sequence, really, ultimately?
I don't know where you're getting this idea from.
Feels like it. She gets swept away. What else are you getting swept away by?
All right, well, we're not in Kansas anymore, but shall we talk to Becky?
Yeah, we shall talk to Becky. Go for it.
Oh, Becky, well, I mean, you're well. How are things, by the way, Becky? Are you good?
Yeah, I am good.
I like that. See, Becky, I don't know why Oscar just suddenly decided to be weird. Maybe because Oscar knows you.
Yeah.
So we'll leave that. We'll allow that everybody to know about that conflict, that Oscar knows Becky.
Conflict of interest
Yeah, but
is
Oscar
considerable.
but Oscar's just getting a bit weird about it. Now, Becky, you recently had an injury. You got a concussion. How did that come about?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. This is my third concussion in about 18 months. So I'm very familiar with being concussed. It was a contested header last weekend in the penalty box, which was ambitious from me. I'm not going to lie. I was never going to get that. But I feel like recently I've been like really on my train of if I got really good at headers, I could just be scoring so much. Like it felt like an untapped section.
Wow.
Yeah, but given the head history, I think maybe I might pull back.
I feel like you don't need to. See, I like this level of self-awareness. Have you thought about now? Obviously, like the helmets that they wear in other sports, like in rugby and stuff. It's a statement. Now, is that something? Would you vibe with that or no?
I think they're cool. Like they definitely give you a vibe. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told that actually concussions more happen from like the inside of your head hitting, like your brain hitting the inside of your head. So the helmet's not that useful, but maybe I'll just do it for the fashion. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then maybe if I put like little springs in it and it was really good at headering, I don't know, I could like, or they're just like furry on the inside so it's warm.
So
like there's a lot of options.
I feel like this might be an untapped realm in which people aren't making money in football that I feel like we could all get into, guys. We could manufacture something and we could sell it. Do you reckon?
Agreed.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, particularly in the context of Boroondara, because we've spoken about Boroondara. They have
I like your switch there.
A fashion statement, as we already know it, which is we see several players with the gloves week after week, and it's really noticeable. And I'm wondering if is there like deep discussions about how this Boroondara team is not just going to change NPLW Victoria, but just the face of football fashion?
We're definitely trying our best, but we don't have to talk about it because we just know. It's sort of like we only bring people in who are going to be on the same page as us. And I think the fashion is like a huge aspect of that.
No, I respect it though, because it's served you guys very well this season.
It looks like it gives the players special powers.
Yeah, it does, because
it does. It's a shh. Keep that on the field.
Now, I think you are still top with the assists table, I think at the moment.
8 assists, I think it is.
8 assists. I don't, you're doing pretty well. And your star forward, Korea Aquino, up front, how nice is it to play with a player like that? And just every time you send the ball in, you're like, she's going to finish it.
Oh, yeah, I've got the easiest job in the world. Like, I barely have to do anything. I think I Googled it once, and isn't an assist, like, as long as no one else touches the ball and she scores, then that's my assist. So all I have to do, even if I'm like, we're 40 meters from the goal, is pass the ball across, and if she scores, then I'm getting an assist. So I really think she's making me look good, to be honest.
Let's not undersell it. We've seen you play. You're pretty good. You've got a lot of pace. You're a very smart player. Has that always been something that's been a part of your game, or have you always been a winger naturally?
No, I actually haven't. This is my first season, like, being on the wing consistently. I started as a centre back my very first season, which was definitely not the place for me. And I used to just run the entire pitch and then just like not know what to do with it and just run out. Basically, I just run all the way to the bar line and then kick it out. And then I played as a 10 for a long time. Did a little bit of right back. I don't know. I've moved around a lot, but mostly I've been in the midfield.
I mean, you look like you found some kind of home on the wing. I mean, I'm thinking about a few weeks ago, I think it was against Berlin, you scored that goal where you just went on this run and you put down like 3 players on your way and then you put it in. It's looking very comfortable. Do you feel like you've really come into your own now that you've got this position nailed down on the flank?
Yeah, 100%. No, I feel very comfortable there, and I've learnt heaps this year for sure. There's a lot of room to run, which I like to do. Yeah, and if I keep having a star striker to just keep whipping it into, I'm pretty happy to stay there.
Now, star striker, and you guys, star striker and all, fantastic. You got Margot Rabin. The squad is stacked. It's got some really, really great players. And you guys have scored 48 goals so far this season. Walking into this season with the squad that you had, Did you guys feel like you would be up there and challenging to make the finals, or did you just kind of wanted to see how the season was going to go on? I think Becky's frozen slightly.
That's really sad.
It is really sad.
It's a great question.
It was a really good question.
Oh, wait, Becky's back.
Sorry. I'm back.
Oh, no, Becky, you're back. Go ahead.
Becky, yeah, I was just asking, walking into this season, did you guys think that you would be in the position that you are now, or were you kind of just going to see how it was all going to play out?
Yeah, I don't think we thought we were going to do this well, to be honest. But I think we thought we had a pretty good team. Like the preseason went really pretty well. It took a little bit of time to really settle in to everybody and sort of the new standard. But a lot of us have been playing together for a while, so I think we've got a really good team dynamic. We like each other a lot. Yeah, so I don't think we quite expected to do this well, but I think we were quietly confident that we could tackle people.
I mean, Pokuah mentioned the 48 goals that Boroondara have scored. Just to put that in context, the next highest team in terms of goals scored is Calder, who have 32.
That's so strange to me, that stat, by the way. The Calder are second, I didn't think that.
But that's literally a third more goals than Calder have, quick maths.
Do you study law or something, Oscar?
So the mathematics is the strong suit throughout this conversation.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, we know the career Aquino's there and scoring, a hat trick every game or something like that. But what is the secret? What is the special sauce to scoring so many goals across the team?
Well, I think part of it maybe is because we concede some goals. So if we want to win, we have to score more than we concede. So we like to set ourselves up for a challenge. I also think, we've got the high press. I think we're in a very attacking-minded sort of squad. We've got a lot of speed, especially in the front third. I think, we just have a very attacking-minded team, I think, and it's just playing out like that. Yeah.
Have you, your football journey, can you walk us through it? Where were you playing juniors, and how have you ended up at Boroondara?
Yeah, I've actually been in Boroondara for since I was 9 or something. Yeah, so I've asked the club repeatedly for a life membership because I think I deserve it. I started when I was I remember I started soccer when I was in prep. Well, no, I didn't start. I played it at PE, and I was this is the best. I kicked a ball around, and then I bugged my parents, and they thought it was a phase because they're what do you mean you want to play soccer? It just came out of nowhere, and I bugged them for years before they finally put me in a team. I played my first year at Richmond with the boys, which was where I was the centre back. And then I think after your dad was
I've got a question. That feels like a very drastic decision by the coach. To put you at centre back?
Centre back?
Yeah, that just feels like he's a hater, or she's a hater, whoever the coach was.
I think I reckon I came in, I was 80 centimeters tall, tiny little kid. Which is probably not your star centre back, but I was definitely not going to be the star striker. I think they didn't know what to do with me at all, so I just fell into the back line and I just sort of stayed there. I was in the D team. I wasn't important. I was not important. Anyway, so then after that, Dad moved me to Boroondara because they had a pretty good.
Oh, we've lost Becky again.
No, you know what it is.
I
think it's because I interrupted Becky.
Yeah, you interrupted twice.
I interrupted twice, and it was shameful of me. See, Becky, I've interrupted you. That's why you froze that time.
Yeah.
I don't know why my internet is being like this. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Please continue with your football journey.
Where was I up to? Where did
your dad and then Boroondara?
Yeah, so my dad moved to Boroondara because they had a strong women's side, and then I've literally been there ever since. So I moved up the ranks just through my ages, and then I was playing reserves from 15, but I never wanted to go up because I was just sort of wanted to hang out with my friends and mess around. I didn't want to take it too seriously. And then last year, finally the seniors coach convinced me to push up the seniors, and then we got promoted, and now I'm here. So I kind of just fell here. I don't know how I got here.
Must be nice to be that good, yeah?
I was accidentally really good at football.
They were chasing me for a couple of years. I said, nah, I don't need that. Yeah. I need that. But now look where I am.
To be wanted.
To be wanted. Yeah, it must be nice, Becky.
Sought after, yeah. Look, so does that mean that like this wasn't like a dream or something growing up or anything? You kind of just stumbled into it. You're like, hey, this is working quite well for me.
I think like my parents always just push. I mean, you know, we do law. Like they always push just working hard. Like I always just played soccer for fun. Actually, I always said I was like, well, I'll never play professional, so I don't need to give that much time into it. It's just a hobby. And then I just sort of like kept going with it. I don't know.
Now, you've just alluded to something that I want to ask you two about, because obviously you both are law students at the great Monash University, really great institution there. Now, Becky, Oscar here, you know, he always walks into the studio with a sort of a chip on his shoulder, with a sense of I'm the smartest man in the world. Becky, is Oscar really that great at law? Is what the question we need.
Awful. No, he's very good. He's very clever. Very smart man.
Really?
She's being kind.
Yeah.
I mean, Becky mentioned the concussion history. I do remember specific occasions where like we'd have like a Tuesday morning class or something and Becky would walk in, or not walk in, more importantly. We'd be like, where's Becky? And we'd be like, oh, she got a concussion on the weekend.
Just
like, again.
Classic Becky.
Like missed like a quarter of the class.
Concussion brand at this point, really.
Yeah, just on Becky. Where's Becky? Probably got a concussion. That's probably where Becky is.
Exactly.
We here on Radio Dub, we're all about merch for players that we like. So maybe we could do Becky Lim merch with just
Becky Lim helmets.
Yeah, just you know, I feel like we could make a lot of money if we ever invested in the ideas that we come up with on the show.
So we've got, so what have we got so far?
Torpedo
we've got
shirts
Torpedo
for Caitlin
shirts,
Torpy.
Torpedo fan club. We've got Becky Lim helmets going on.
The Mac, like a Mac pack, like puffer jacket.
Yeah,
for the Mac.
huge. Should we have
Holly
like
Mac tomorrow?
Brianne Reed headbands or something like
Yeah,
that?
I like
Yeah,
that.
look,
We'll discuss it.
We're getting somewhere.
Now,
All good. This is all good. I'm going to steal all of it. Have you copyrighted any of that?
Oh, I've got
Oscar,
Carrera
lawyer?
Aquino headband.
Yeah,
but Carrera Aquino also had the
Oh,
different.
and it's got to be pink.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, but Carrera also had the different coloured gloves for a little while, and that was different. That's
you see how she just said she's going to steal it? You better be a good lawyer and defend us.
No, Becky will outsmart me, and we'll lose that case very quickly.
Jeez, Oscar, why do I have you on this show? No.
So that I can access people who are better than
Yes.
both of us, so
That's-
that we
no,
get
that's
good
fair.
content.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
it's fine.
that. I was going to ask you, Becky, which team playing in the NPL this year has been the toughest that you faced or surprised you?
Oh. I think if you had asked me this a week ago, I would have said Preston.
Interesting.
Because Preston was a
I'm
team
going
that
to read between the lines. I would have said Preston a week ago, then we played them. Oh, is that what you're going for?
No, as in, I was gonna say we had played because we were with Preston last year and we could never beat them. We played them I feel like even if we thought we were gonna like play well and we could beat like other teams in that league, we could just never beat Preston. And then we played them again at the start of this season. I don't remember what the score was, but it was not a good score. It was something like 4-1 or something.
Probably was. With
so we
Korea
always-
hat trick.
Yeah, we always struggled against Preston, and
It was 4-1.
It was 4-1. There you go. Very good. Yeah, we always struggled against Preston, even though I feel like maybe other teams that we had beaten could beat them. Like it was just a matchup that we could never come like out on top. But I mean, we did. Hey, cheeky little promo. We did beat them on Saturday, so we'll take that away. Playing Boleen recently, they were very, very good. They were fun to play. I'm excited for Calder on Saturday. I think that will be interesting. We played them in the Nike Cup last year, and that was also, I think it was like we lost 6-0 or something.
Yeah.
They're very good.
That's that Calder side was so I would call them the golden generation of Calder.
I remember talking to Becky at the time, like the weekend leading up to this Nike FC
Yes.
Cup game, because we
Me too.
were in a lecture at the time. Oh, we're playing Calder, and they're going to like,
Yeah.
good luck.
You're like, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Nah, but you know what? If it's 6-0, it wasn't. I don't think it's that bad considering a lot of those players played A-League Women's
Yeah.
this season and went to a grand final. I feel like 6-0 is not that bad. Like I would be okay with that loss. Now, right?
Yeah.
Losers
I
mentality.
almost put it on the resume.
Played several A-League women's
and
players.
didn't get completely embarrassed.
And look at where the teams are now as well. I mean, there's a 7-point gap. Again, more math. 7-point gap between the two teams. So like, you know,
Do you have a secret calculator? Don't lie.
what goes around comes around.
He does. See, actually, Oscar's phone recently just went off while we were doing the show because Oscar's one of those people who likes to hear himself while the show's going on. So he actually played it.
I've just got a constant feedback loop of my own voice as I'm asking questions. It's really soothing and it really keeps me going.
I like that for you, Oscar. Becky, now I want to ask you some football questions, just general football. What football team do you go for outside of, Boroondara?
I'm a Chelsea follower.
Interesting.
You've upset Pokuah, I'm afraid.
She doesn't upset me.
I'm so sorry.
She doesn't upset me. I like there is an element of, the Ghanaian population that enjoys Chelsea, and there's some great Ghanaian players that have played for Chelsea. It's just, Chelsea are Chelsea, and Arsenal are better, but it's okay. We move. Becky, who's your favorite men's player and favorite women's player, if you've got one?
Definitely women's. It's so easy. It's Sam Kerr.
Not fair.
Like, she's just a star. I'm obsessed with her. Men's player. I don't know. I don't think I have a strong favorite.
Not fair. They're all weak anyway.
Yeah.
About it.
Less important.
Yeah,
I guess.
not very interesting.
Exactly. This is a women's football podcast, and that's actually the best answer you could have given us. So thank you very much.
NA. Yeah.
Who would you describe your footballing style is similar to? Or like, who did you, as a child, you're like, I kind of want to play like them a little bit?
Oh, this is really testing me.
Yeah. We're a test kind of show.
I promised Becky
I
there
feel
wouldn't
like
be
I'm
any
on a
difficult
show.
questions, and now we're just like throwing them at
Absolutely.
us.
Excuse me while I do some research. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if I ever tried to emulate anybody. I'm really not. You thought I was a smart player. I feel like I work on base instinct, and usually the instincts are wrong. I'm constantly astounded by the other players who think so well. There's so many clever and experienced people in my team, and I'm just in awe of them. I just am not smart enough to play like that.
Hey, if you're playing on instincts, you got 8 assists. I feel like you're doing all right.
I like that answer too. I don't emulate anyone. I'm
just that great.
Forging my own path. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Becky, now Radio Dub here. We are a music travel podcast.
Food as well. Yeah.
We cover football sometimes. We want to know on your playlist, what is pre-game? What's a song that just has to be on there? I think Becky's frozen a little bit as well. I'm going to give her time to think about it because I feel like she heard us.
I'm back.
She's back. What's your pre-game song that has to be there?
Oh, I don't have a strong pre-game song, but I have a strong post-game song.
Okay. What have we got?
Yeah, it's Beauty and the Beat by Justin Bieber.
Great song. Great song.
A banger.
2009?
It is a banger.
That 2009, that music video goes off, yeah? That Nicki rap?
Incredible.
It's sensational.
Yeah. The Better Watch Out for Selena, that.
Every time I'm
I
gagged.
almost get that tattooed on my body.
Yeah, every time that beat comes on, I'm like, wow, we really were just in a great period of time.
It's so good. So that's a must. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, no, I like that. But I think that Justin Bieber in that time was actually he was bringing out hits. And sometimes people don't want to admit it, but JB had some stuff going on there.
I strongly agree. Yeah.
Exactly. The man doesn't get enough credit.
Passionately.
He
There was
doesn't
this
get
golden era, wasn't there, for a little while?
There was a golden era.
But it was probably
I agree.
too close to the initial attraction of fame, because then people were still repelled
I'm
by
just
him.
going to be honest with you.
And then
I think
didn't
that
get the credit.
I think that in 5-10 years we're all going to be honest ourselves and say that Justin Bieber really had some hits and the man was
He really had some bangers.
he did some
He
great
really
albums.
delivered.
You know how hard it is to make a good Christmas album, and the man made a good Christmas album.
No idea. Do you know how hard it is?
Mistletoe.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you. You see, Oscar, what are you about to say?
Well, I was about to say, you asked me if I knew how hard it was to make a Christmas album. Do you know how hard it is?
I do,
is that something
because
you've
I
attempted?
can't hold a tune, so I know how difficult it is.
Right. Okay.
I can't hold one. Becky, okay, obviously we've covered the food, we've covered the football. Now it's terms of the travel portion of the podcast.
Okay.
In Melbourne, what is an underrated place that more people need to know about? It could be like a restaurant. It could be like a
Oh,
place
this is
there.
unsoccer related.
Yeah,
This is
just want to know into the mind of Becky Lim.
unrated place in Melbourne. Wow, what a broad question. I would say food. I'm going to throw out a good food restaurant.
Nice.
Jonker Street in Doncaster East. I'm going to do a little rep here for Malaysian food because I think it's severely underrated as an Asian cuisine. I think like everybody raves about Thai food, Indian food. Like, yes, okay, very good.
Fair.
But Malaysian food is severely underrated, and I think it needs to tap into the mainstream market. So that would be my shout out. Is Jonker Street in Doncaster East is like a really good Malaysian
You
restaurant.
know what? I think that's not a bad shout. Now,
That's good.
in the pantheon of like Asian cuisine, where are we
Yeah.
ranking Malaysian food? Like, is it top three?
It's top.
At the top.
It's the best one.
Okay. Oh,
That's good to know. That's not something that I've explored too much. So,
I'm impartial to Filipino food just because my sisters are half Filipino, so I've eaten that a lot. I do respect the cuisine a lot. But Malaysian
Fair
food,
enough.
no, I respect that. Malaysian food is, I've had it and I enjoy it. But I don't think I've had it enough to fully support you on this take. But I don't doubt
think-
you're right.
It just like draws in from so many other countries and like takes the best of each of them and has put them into like a wonderful bundle. That's what I think.
Well, look, Becky, I mean, Pokuah's asked you some really great questions to understand you as a person.
That's what this podcast is about.
And I mean, ultimately, you're at this stage in your life where obviously football's important and going great, and there are lots of things working for you, but you've also got lots of things outside of that. We've been really lucky on this pod to speak to some people who get that balance when we're talking about the likes of Beatty Goad, who's doing her medical degree as she's being an A-League women's player and all of those kinds of things. I mean, is that a balance that you can see yourself maintaining for the foreseeable future? You're going to keep doing lots of things outside of football whilst also viewing this as a passion and a hobby?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really important, like from all perspectives. So I think like putting all of your eggs into uni or all of your eggs into sports or whatever is like definitely a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, maybe. And I also I think I just enjoy so many things. So like having a balance is something that I really love because I get so much value and I fill my cup from so many different areas. So that's definitely something I make an effort to do. It's exhausting though.
Yeah, how do you go about like what are the things that you go about to like have time to be good at all the things that you're currently doing?
I sleep a lot and I make a lot of to-do lists. I'm a huge to-do list user.
I love lists.
Really?
I make
I
like
love
several
them.
lists a day. It's huge.
I make lists all the time.
So you're making a list about wait, what's the saying? Wait, so you're making a plan to make a plan or to do a plan? Well, that's just a lot.
Look, I've got a list for Thursday. I've got a list for tonight. I've got a list for Friday. I've already got my list for tomorrow sorted. I know what I need to do.
I'll write down things on a list that like I've already done just so I can tick them off.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Right?
You sickos.
stuff.
You
There's, like-
sickos.
Good
There's a
stuff.
special thrill of ticking something off the to-do list.
I'm going to write stuff down that, like, of course I'm going to, like, I'll write down eat dinner on my list. And it's like, well, of course you're going to eat
I'll
dinner.
write down like shower.
It's like bag nailed it.
You guys aren't real people.
Look at me go.
This can't be
I'm
a
like,
real
I was
thing.
so productive today.
Yeah.
And you just did the basics of life?
Just write a list.
Yes.
Write a list and you will feel incredible about
Is this
yourself.
how you get through law school?
It's important.
It is. Although I must say, if we're talking about law school, a lot of things on that list don't get done
No.
or don't even make it to the list.
Law school's like an aspirational list. Like,
Yeah.
listen back to lecture. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like kind of
Right?
lots
Like,
of things
do
where I
the
go,
readings.
say again?
You wish.
Yeah.
Do the readings. You wish.
Yeah, right?
You do the mandatory readings. The other ones, we'll think about those.
Or, lectures cover enough of the content of the
Exactly.
readings. So you
I
don't
don't
really
think
need to do
I've never done a reading.
the readings.
Becky, we get it. You're good, yeah? Relax, yeah?
I just want to say I'm so
not.
relieved to
I'm
hear you
so
say
bad.
that. I'm so relieved to hear you say that. That makes me feel better about my place in the world because I feel like everyone does readings and I don't know why they do readings.
There's no need. It's called a
No.
lecture. It's called a lecture for a reason.
Yeah.
If you're not covering a
Exactly.
lecture, they're not doing their job properly.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Come on now.
Agreed. If it's not a lecture, I don't need to know it.
Exactly.
Also.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right. Well, you were crammed all the lectures in the last 3 weeks of the semester, or are you actually as they go? Or do you have to actually go to them in law school? I don't know. I do media, so we don't really, it's not serious.
I'm usually pretty good at like watching them as I go, just because I have like intense PTSD from having to watch all of them in a row, and it's so awful. Especially like we have 3-hour lectures, and it's just the worst. I'll never do them, so I try and go as much as I can.
Unless you're concussed, and then
Unless I'm concussed,
it makes it very difficult.
And you know what? You can put that on a list. You can put lecture on your list. You tick it off every morning. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
You can also put don't get concussed on the list too. Hey, Becky.
Ooh.
This week is fine. Last week wasn't okay, but you got to tick this week.
It's aspirational, but it's not that aspirational.
You've got to be realistic, because with our list.
Sorry.
What's the point of a list if you can't like even imagine yourself achieving that?
It was too much. It was too much.
It has to be a smart goal.
Exactly. That's fair. It does have to be a smart goal. Now,
Yeah.
Becky, the girls are playing colder this weekend. What do you think? What are the key things? You don't have to tell us the whole Boroondara game plan, but what's the things you reckon that it's going to be important if your side is going to get the win on the weekend?
Not to give away all of our tactics in case any listeners are here. We've got, it's interesting. I think they play like a 4-2-4. That could be a lie, but that's what I've been told.
It is.
Which is, we've discussed a lot, because I think that's a whack formation.
It's very intense. It's very attacking intensive. Yeah, very.
It's very attacking intense. So I think we'll have a strong defensive focus, like a strong deep block, trying to stay narrow, drop into I won't give away our formations.
Yeah.
But strong defensive, trying to combat the attacking force, like pulling in our defenders and dropping back. That's probably.
When you've got Kiwa Hieda running at you, that's
Funnily
terrifying.
enough, I did their game, the Calder game last weekend. Kiwa Hieda didn't start. I was very surprised.
Really?
It was a big surprise for me.
Extraordinary.
But they've got some really, really good players there at Calder, and so do you guys at Boroondara. How is it like playing, before we let you go, how is it like playing with Margot Rabin?
It's great. She's so funny. Like, not to, like on and off the pitch. I don't know if you've ever heard her. This is a tangent, but she can do like a really realistic horse like imitation, and it's incredible. Like, I know one time one of our players was watching an A-League game and like heard the sound and was just like, that's Margot making the horse sound. It's very loud, but it's like perfect. Anyway, that's not relevant. She's a great player, and there's so much to learn from her. Like, again, there's so many people in the team who I respect, and I just, like, every time they talk, I listen. Like, routinely, I don't love being told what to do, but I would do anything they told me to do in a heartbeat, because I just know they're right. So she's great. She's very talented, and she's very willing to teach, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's what you want from a player with so much experience like her. And she scored that really good goal in the game that we called together.
Oh, yeah.
What was it, against the FV Emerging? Yes.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice goal. I think you got an assist in that game as well. I think so. Well, she gets an assist in most games, probably.
It's a fair bet.
It's honestly highly unlikely to be wrong. Well, Becky, we really appreciate you joining us on Radio Dub, and we hope it was a pleasant enough time, because we had a great time, so we hope you had a great time.
I had a great time.
Yeah, so if you obviously, I don't know how much we're going to be seeing of you for the rest of the the NPL women's season, but if Boroondara make the finals, we might have to get you back on the show. Would that be?
Just anyway.
I'll be calling in from Italy, so I might have to wake up at like 3 a.m., but I'll be here.
It'll work. It'll work out. It'll be on the to-do list.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
This
Very
was on the
important.
to-do list.
This was
tonight. This was definitely on the
list. And you get to tick it off.
Yeah.
Now you get to tick it off. Well, Becky, really appreciate you being on the show, and we appreciate everybody else for listening to Radio Dub tuning in this week. It was a special interview with Becky Lim. So we're going to head off, and we'll be back next week.
I think so.
I think next week it might be our final one for just a little couple weeks, something like that. You gonna come back?
Women's World Cup, huge.
Exactly, very, very exciting. Becky, you gonna tune in for the Women's World Cup?
Yeah, I'm devastated that the one time the World Cup is in the country that I live in, I'm not going to be in this country.
Yeah, no, that is
I would definitely tuning in.
That is an L for you, but at least there are TVs in Italy, so you can watch it as well.
Do you know that firsthand? Or are you guessing?
I'm just taking a wild guess. I'm not quite sure. Haven't got any confirmation, but
Do your research, before you make such claims.
Exactly, that is true. Well, everybody else who is listening, bye for now, and we'll talk to you another time.
Pickett, she lays it off. Teresa Polias